Hey there, everybody, and welcome. Today, I am going to play Marco Polo II in the service of the Khan solo, using a solo variant that I created. I have posted the rules for the solo variant on BGG in the files form for Marco Polo II, and I am creating this video as an adjunct to that solo variant so that you could see how it actually works for yourself, and I can sort of describe exactly what the variant is doing as I play the game. I'm not going to be playing this to win. I'm going to be playing this pretty much to describe exactly how the AI players work. I'm actually going to be playing a 4-player game. As you can see, my solo variant can be set to easy, medium, and hard, and there are also other ways you can adjust the difficulty. I am playing against an opponent I'm calling Red, who's going to be playing at the hard setting. Green, a player who's going to be playing at the easy setting, and yellow, a player who's going to be playing at the medium setting. Now, there's no guarantee as to who's going to win. I probably will not win. Like I said, I'm not going to be spending a lot of time thinking about what I'm going to be doing. I just want to kind of get through this video and mostly explain what's happening with the solo variant, but I anticipate, knowing my variant, that red will probably win and green will probably lose. As you can see, I am not demonstrating this using the playing pieces of the game I have that's sitting over there on the shelf, but instead I am using the program that I wrote to play Marco Polo II. If you watched my earlier video that is a tutorial on a 2-player playthrough, you'll see that this is the same program, though I have modified it, added some additional features, and of course incorporated my solo variant as well. Admittedly, I have not totally debugged this, so I'm hoping my variant will work the way I expect it to. Now, admittedly, if I was doing this by hand, it might be a little bit more complicated. It would certainly be epic playing a 4-player game solo, but my variant certainly allows for that. If you want to play 2-player and keep it simple and just have to worry about one AI player, it's really not that complicated. It's a pretty streamlined variant, I think. If you just read through the file that I posted on BGG, it may seem a little complicated, but hopefully this video will clarify it all, and you'll see that it's actually not very sophisticated and pretty streamlined. Anyway, all that said, let's just get started. And well, actually, before I click OK, let me say that the red player who's playing it hard has his or her, I guess for purposes of gender here, I'm probably going to use his, but I don't mean that as any disrespect. But red is going to be playing hard, and therefore a hard player uses a 14-card automa deck. Green, who's playing easy, has a 12-card automa deck, and yellow, who's playing medium, has the 13-card automa deck. And essentially, all 3 of them use the same 12 cards, but the medium player has 1 extra card, and the red player, the hard player, has that same extra card plus 1 additional extra card. So 14 cards for the red player, 12 for the green, and 13 for the yellow. It's all, as I said, all described in the solo rules that I posted. Red is going to be playing differently because red is playing at the hard setting, and a hard AI player has a special rule that he follows that I'll describe as we go. But that's probably enough introduction for now. You'll see the automa cards as they pop up, and I'll just describe how you, the human player, would handle it if you were actually playing the solo variant. So, sorry, a little bit of long-winded explanation. Let's just get going. Okay, so I am the human player. I always go first. I draw 4 characters at random. Now, normally, if you were playing a 4-player game, you would draw 5. But because I'm playing solo, my solo variant says just draw a number of characters equal to the number of players in the game, not the number of players plus 1, as you would usually do it. And I still draw 3 goal cards to choose. So, what do I want to do for, for today? I'm going to use Gentuga Odd. Sorry, pardon me for my awful pronunciation. He's the guy that doesn't have to pay a lot for travel, and that's going to make my life a lot easier today. So, and I like him for that reason. So he's one of my favorites. So I'm going to take him, and since I'm probably going to be doing a lot of travel, and I'm hoping to just keep traveling with him and use all of my trading posts, I'll either pick this one or this one. I guess I'll just pick this one. Okay, so as I said, the human player goes first. Now you just saw that my program rolled the black dice. My solo variant assumes that you're playing with the black die variant as described in the rule supplement of Marco Polo II. And all that does is it just, instead of rolling black dice as you take them, you roll them once at the beginning of the round, so that when it's your turn to choose a black die, you get to choose which one you want and which value it is. So that's with my variant assumes you're playing with that variant. I suppose it wouldn't be too hard to play my solo variant and get rid of that rule. It wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I recommend it in my variant, and it's a good rule to play with. I think it makes the game more interesting. So I guess I didn't roll very well. I got a 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. That adds up to 8 and 6 is 14. So I get one low die compensation. I guess because I am not going to have to pay too many camels, but I will be paying coins a lot, I will take a coin. Yeah, I'll just take a coin. And maybe right off the bat, I'll just grab a black die, since I have 3 camels and I don't expect that I'll have to spend them anytime soon. So I'll take say a 1. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing a lot of thinking. I'm pretty much going to just keep moving. And you'll see that that's kind of the logic behind the hard AI player as well. He's going to be doing a lot of moving as well. Okay, so what do I want to do here? So like I said, I'm going to move, so I'm going to take a 1 and take the lower travel action. It's the only travel action I can take using my character. Now, I know for a fact, so let me explain travel from an AI's perspective. The AI players follow a very specific path as they travel through the board whenever an automa card says that they should travel. And their path takes them from Beijing, where everybody starts, and I'm just pulling up my sheet here, finding where I have it laid out. Where's their path? There's their path. Okay, so they go from Beijing to Xanadu, to this oasis, to Xanadu. They basically travel west to Kashgar, and then they come south to Mur and move east. They move, where do they go? Mur to Balkh, yeah. Then they go east to Chengdu, then southwest to Kabul, then east to Pagan, and then it goes to this oasis and goes up to Zion, or Xi'an, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, back to the oasis, over to Fuchao, down to Kunming, and then west, where it ends in Baghdad and then doesn't move anymore. All that is laid out in the solo variant. It's very clear, so that anytime an AI player has to move, it's going to move that way. It's going to first move to this oasis, then it's going to move to this, depending upon which travel action it's taking, as you'll soon see. Then it'll move to Xanadu and Karakorum and so forth. Anyway, knowing that, and knowing that the AI players are very aggressive. Certainly the hard AI player, red, is going to be very aggressive on its moving. It's going to probably get through this path faster than I would be able to, and therefore it's going to steal all the outpost tiles before I can probably get to most of them. So knowing that, I am going to go a different route, and I'm going to go south to the Yang Chao and get some of these before it gets over there, because it goes kind of this way and winds its way over, and actually doesn't even come to Yang Chao. It does go to Fuchao at the end, and then there it goes to Kunming, and as I said, it ends in Baghdad. So I'm going to go this way so I can grab some of these outpost tiles before the AI players do. When you know how the AI players behave, you can take advantage of it and use it to your advantage. So I'm going to go to Yang Chao, and I'm going to get this little bonus. And what am I going to take here? I guess silk or pepper. I'll just take silk. And that's my turn. Okay. So now I end my turn, and red is next. Oh, well, you know what? So I made red, the hard player, go second. That's probably not a good idea, because the hard player, like I said, travels heavily, and more often than not ends up being the new first player at the start of every round. The start player after the first round is determined the way the rules say you should. That is, the player who most recently took the best travel action is the new start player for the subsequent round. That's more often than not going to be red, who's playing second, and therefore I'm going to be last probably for most of this game. But whatever, like I said, I'm not playing to win. Okay, so the red player is going to draw a card from its Automa deck, which will be displayed on the screen. And he drew the Automa card that says Travel Action. So when you get this Automa card, you roll a d6, if need be, to determine which travel action the player is going to take. And if you roll a 1 to a 3, the AI player takes the lower travel action. If you roll a 4 or a 5, which is a little bit less often, it takes the middle travel action. And if you roll a 6, which is one chance out of 6, it takes the upper travel action. But like I said, the hard player behaves differently, and a hard AI player behaves differently. And the big difference with the hard AI player is that it doesn't, if it were human, it doesn't like to have to pay to take an action. In other words, it tries to avoid going to action spaces that already are occupied by dice. And you'll see more often than not, if it pulls an Automa card that says to do this action, and that action is anything other than a travel action, it's going to avoid doing it if that space is taken, and it would have to, if it were human, pay a fee to have to take the space. However, it's the first turn of the game. It's not going to have that problem right now, so it's going to roll a d6. But if it rolls, so the way the travel action works for the hard AI player is, you basically look at the action spaces it would prefer to take. So if it's going to take travel, it doesn't want to do this one because I'm there, and like I said, it doesn't like going where there's already a die. So it's pretty much going to do this one or this one, meaning you roll that d6, and if you got a 1 to a 3, maybe you try the upper travel action. You do the upper travel action, or if you got a 3 to a 4, a 4 to a 5 rather, you take the middle travel action. You know, it's not science. You just sort of do whatever you think is appropriate. My program is going to roll that d6, and it's going to choose either this one or this one. It is not going to choose. I think that's the way my rule works. You know what? This is pretty embarrassing, but I don't know my own rules that well because I haven't played with the Automa that much. I just pretty much tested it and tried it out and made sure it behaves the way I expect it to. I may be describing this incorrectly, so let me take a look. Travel action. If the AI player is set to hard, it will first try to take a travel action that is currently unoccupied, like I just said. Oh, so if the one that it chooses because of the die roll is occupied, it next tries the lower travel action. Well, in other words, it moves down the list. So if it rolls a 6 and this is occupied, it tries this. If that's occupied, it tries this. If it rolls a 4 or 5, it tries the middle travel action. If that's occupied, it tries this. If that's occupied, then it wraps around to the upper travel action. So that's basically the logic that it's going to take. It's not going to do this. It's going to do either this or this, because like I said, when an AI player is playing hard, only in very specific circumstances does it actually go to a place that's been taken earlier. So with that long-winded explanation provided, let's see which action it actually takes. Okay, so it's taking the middle travel action. So chances are it just rolled a 4 or a 5, and that's what it decided to do. Because if it rolled a 1, 2, or a 3, it wouldn't have done this action, and it would have tried, and then it would have moved to the upper travel action. So I know for a fact it internally rolled a 4 or a 5, and that's what it decided to do. When it does the middle travel action, it just moves from the city it's in to the next city on its path. So remember I said it goes this way. It never I guess I should explain that an AI player never rolls their dice. You can see all their dice are set to 1. They don't have any resources to manage. There's no gold or coins or camels or any of that. It never pays to travel. It just does what the automa card says it should do. So it did this middle travel action and moved from there to there. It got rid of the outpost tile. It didn't resolve it. It just got rid of it, and now it's there, and it puts a trading post in the city, and its turn is finished. So, like I said, the explanation seems complicated, but it's really not. And once you start playing with the variant, it kind of goes pretty quickly and smoothly. Anyway, it's now the green player's turn. This is the easy player. So the easy player and the medium player pretty much play the same way, except they have slightly different decks. Remember, like I said, the medium player has a 13-card deck. The easy player has a 12-card deck. And they have their own independent decks that are shuffled. And they're always shuffled at the beginning of every round. So you've got plenty of cards to draw without having to reshuffle multiple times. You might have to do that. You might have to reshuffle once or possibly twice if you're playing with a hard AI player, because like I said, the hard AI player draws more automa cards because it skips more automa actions. But anyway, so what did the green player draw? It drew this automa card that says it should complete its contract. AI players got a starting contract the same way we did. They drew 1 gold card, and that's the one they got. And they don't draw a character, and they don't roll their dice, but they have dice, and they have a player board, and just a place to put their trading posts, and they play their trading posts out just the way you would as a human. So, as a human player. So anyway, this is what the green players are going to do, because the automa says complete your contract. An automa player will only have 1 contract on its player board at any one time. So when an automa player completes a contract, it completes it. It scores double the points that are shown on the contract. So the green player is going to score 2 points, not 1. And it pretty much ignores, like I said, all the resources. The only thing it does from the reward section, other than scoring double the points, is it will take a black die if the contract offers it, and it will take the movement if the contract offers that. So this green player is going to move as a result of completing its contract. It hasn't even gotten to the action yet. And it's going to move one space moving west in the same path that the red player took, except it's only moving one space, and therefore it's going to stop in this oasis here. So that's pretty much what's going to happen here. Then it's going to do a book 3 action. So it's going to take one of its dice, preferably a green die. It doesn't have any black die right now. So it's going to take a dice. It's going to take one of its green dice. It's going to set it to 5 because it's going to the 3rd book action. And it's going to place it in one of these empty spaces, preferably. If these spaces were occupied, if one of the spaces was occupied, it would take the unoccupied space. If they were both occupied, it would just take one of the spaces. It never pays. It just occupies space. It doesn't resolve the action. It's just to block you and get in your way. So that's what's going to happen. Complete the contract. It's going to move one space to the oasis, then take a green die, set it to 5, and stick it down here in the 3rd book. So there it is, completing the contract. I got 2 points instead of 1. It moved to the oasis, and it stuck a 5 down here in the book action. Okay? Now it's the yellow player's turn. Yellow is playing medium, kind of behaves the same way the easy player does. It also drew an automa card stipulating book 3, but you can see that this automa card doesn't have complete contract at the top, so it doesn't complete a contract. It just moves one of its dice into the 3rd book action. So it's going to see that it sees that this space is empty. It's going to take a die, set it to 5, and drop it in that space. Okay, now it's back to me. So now what am I going to do? I guess I'm going to just travel again. I see I have this city card here where I can pay Jade to travel. Maybe I'll take advantage of that at some point. I don't have any Jade right now, so it's not an option. So I'm just going to take the black die that I took earlier, stick it in the lower travel action, and now I'm going to move down to Fuchao, get the 3 camels from the outpost, and I'll pick a contract. So which one do I want? Oh, they both offer movement, interestingly enough. This one looks a little easier to fulfill, so I'll just grab that one. Okay, so that's the end of my turn, and I have 3 camels. I guess I could take another die, a black die, if I wanted to, but you know, I'm not for now. So let's keep going. Red player's turn. This is the hard player. It draws an automa card that says Upper City card, meaning it's going to try to do one of these city actions where it has a trading post, and lo and behold, it does. So it's going to put a die in this spot, blocking it off, not that any other player can use it right now, and it's going to score 5 victory points. So anytime any AI player plays, uses an Upper City card, meaning a card, not any city card that's not one of these 2 in the bottom corner, it puts a die there and then scores 5 points. So it puts a die there, scores 5 points. Now it's the green player's turn. Green player draws travel action. Okay, so this is similar to what the red player did earlier. We're going to roll a d6. Now the green player's playing easy. He doesn't care where he goes. He's just going to roll a die, and on a 1 to 3, he's going to do this one if he legally can. On a 4 to 5, he'll do this one if he legally can, and on a 6, he'll do this one if he legally can. Otherwise, he's just going to move down and find one travel action that he could finally do, that he has the right dice for. So as you can see right now, he doesn't have any black dice. He has 4 green die, and he hasn't gone here before, so he's just going to roll. And on a 1 to 3, he's going to go here. On a 4 to 5, he's going to go here. On a 6, he's going to go there. So chances are he's going to take a single movement. No, he took the middle travel action. So that means you move to the next city on your path. So it went from this oasis simply to Xanadu, put a trading post there, turn is done. Okay, now it's the yellow player's turn. This is the medium player. Gets a card that says complete your contract and then do a travel action in the normal fashion. So it's similar to what the green player just did, but it also has this stipulation at the top that says complete a contract. Now let me stop for a moment and just say that for most of these Automa cards, when there's something at the top that's underlined, you do that whether you end up doing the middle action at all. So for example, let's say that there was no way the yellow player could legally do a travel action because all it had were yellow dice, and maybe it had already done all three of these actions somehow, some way during the round. For whatever reason, couldn't do a travel action. It would still complete the contract, so it does what it's supposed to do at the top. Then it tries to do a travel action, and if it can't, it just draws another card and does what it says on that card instead. But as you can see, this player is not going to have that problem, so it's going to complete its contract. It's simply going to score 4 points, double the points shown on the contract. There's nothing else here that it does. It puts the contract down here on the player board where it's supposed to, and then draws another one from the stack immediately and just places it on its player board. So that way, an AI player always has a contract on its player board and always has one contract. It'll never have more than one. So anytime it says complete contract, it fulfills the one contract it has, then draws another one, and that's all. And then it moves on to do whatever else it's supposed to do. So as you can see, the yellow player, just as simply as all these other AI players, can do any one of these travel actions. It's going to roll a die. When it gets there, choose the appropriate travel action, and then move west, just like these AI players did. So first, it's going to complete the contract. So it gets 4 points for that. It rolled a 1, 2, or 3, so it moves 1 space west, and its turn is over. That simple. Okay, now it's my turn again. I am going to take my 3, and I'll take the first book action, and I'll choose, do I want some jade? Yeah, I'll take, no, I'll take I need the money more than the jade right now, so I'll take the 3 coins and the 2 pepper. But more importantly, now I have the pepper and the silk I need to fulfill this contract. I don't have gold, so I can't do this one, but I will do this one. And nicely, it's going to give me some jade and 3 points. Like I said, I may be making some really stupid blunders as I play here. I'm not trying to play smart. I'm just trying to play quickly. And pick something that looks reasonably decent. So sorry if I make an embarrassing mistake. Okay, my turn is over. Back to the hard player's turn. It's going to do Khan's favor. Okay, so when an AI player is going to do a Khan's favor action, it looks over here and sees what's happening. Right now, there's nothing going on, so it rolls one of its dice, preferably one of its colored dice if it has it, and takes that die and puts whatever it rolls and puts it in the first space. It behaves differently if it does a Khan's favor action with dice already there. I'm sure we'll encounter that later in the playthrough, so let's just play it the way it's going to. So it's going to roll a die, and one of its red dice, and stick it in the first space of Khan's favor. And it ends up placing a 5. So it's going to make it harder for me, not for the other AI players, but for me, to go to Khan's favor if I want to. Remember, I rolled pretty poorly. Anyhow, green's turn. It draws book 3. So it does have a black die, but its preference is to always place colored dice. So it's going to it's going to change one of its green dice to a 5 and go to this action space down here, and that's all it's going to do. Hopefully it won't make a liar of me. I think that's what I told that's the way the program did. Yep, that's what it does. So it preferably takes a colored die and goes where it can go. If it had previously played both spaces and it had a black die, it would then just choose one at random and put the black die there. Okay, yellow player's card, medium difficulty, going to do a lower city card action. You can see it says here, medium or hard difficulty, score 5 victory points. Yeah, so it's gonna, and because these are both open, it's gonna roll a die, and on a 1 to a 3, it's gonna do this one, otherwise it's gonna do that one, and then it just simply scores 5 points, and that's all it does. And it just puts a 1 there, it doesn't care. So it took the 1 on the right, put a 1 there, took 5 points, and its turn is over. Very simple. My turn again. I'm going to need the Taylor seal, and that will also provide me with some additional jades. So, oh, darn it. Yeah. So that works for me. So I'm going to take a 4 and a 4 and go over here, and ooh, this just caught my eye. Eventually, when I get to pagan, I can do the seal action with 1 die. That's nice, but chances are I'll get most of the seals I want. I'm not even looking at my goal card. Do I have any seals here? I don't. I just picked one that had, sorry, I do have 1 seal, the jeweler seal, but right now I want the Taylor seal because that's what I need sooner rather than later. So I am going to choose the Taylor seal. I don't have what I need to improve it, so I'm not going to do it right now, but at some point I'll improve it. I like to get bonuses earlier rather than later if I possibly can. Anyway, my turn is over. It's the red player's turn. It's the hard player, remember? It's going to take a black die. Then it's going to try to do the highest travel action. So it's not going to roll a d6. It's going to try to do this upper travel action. If it can't, because it's occupied, remember the hard player doesn't like doing occupied actions, then instead it's going to just do a lower travel action and pay whatever, and do whatever, even if it's occupied. It doesn't care. So this card is treated a little differently. It tries to do the upper travel action. If it can, it does it. If it can't, it just does the lower travel action, whether it's occupied or not. So that's the one exception to the way the red player, the hard AI player behaves. Regardless of that, it is going to take a black die. Anytime an AI player is instructed to take a black die, you roll a die. On a 1 to a 3, you take the highest die. On a 4 to a 6, you take the lowest. Well, I got it backwards. It makes more sense. On a roll of 4 to 6, you take the highest die. On a roll of 1 to 3, you take the lowest black die. So it's going to do that internally. I don't show it rolling a die. It's going to take either the 5 or the 2. It's not going to take the 4. And then it's going to take this upper travel action because it can. Oh, it can't. It only has 2 dice. Oh, no, it does. Sorry. So it takes a black die. It will have the 3 dice it needs, and then it will do the upper travel action. Okay, so there we go. It took the 5. When it does an upper travel action, it moves 2 cities worth. It went to Karakoram, it put a trading post. It went to Kashgar, put a trading post. That's all it did. And it got rid of the outpost tiles like it normally does. Okay, green's turn. It's going to do book 2, whether it's occupied or not. Easy players don't care. It's not occupied. It's just going to take its green die, turn it to a 3, and stick it there. Okay. Now it's yellow's turn. And, okay, so yellow's going to Khan's favor. It sees that there's already a 5, so it has to place either a 5 or a 6 in the next space. So it rolls a die. On a 1, 2, or a 3, it places a 5. On a 4, 5, or 6, it places a 6. Nothing more scientific than that. So what does it do? It places a 6. Okay, so that's what it did. And now it's back to me. So now I have some jade, so I think I will take my last remaining die and stick it up here. And I'll do this one time. And I'll move from Fu Chao down to Kunming, where I get a sort of the wild bonus, which lets me pick any other bonus tile on the board. I hate having to make these decisions because I just want to do something quickly. I'll take this one that gives me resources. What do I need to complete this contract? A gold and a silk. So that's what I'm going to take. So I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to take a gold and a silk. And now I can fulfill this contract. Can I? Oh, I don't have I have camels and jade. I technically could, but I don't want to get rid of my jade because I'm going to need, where am I? I'm down here. I don't need jade for my next movement, but I will need jade sooner rather than later. So I'm not going to fulfill this just yet. I have time to do that. I think that may be the end of the round. Red doesn't have dice. Green has a die, so green's going to take an action. Yellow has a die too, so we're going to skip past red, and green's going to do something. So green draws a card, upper city card. So the only possible place it can go is here in Xanadu, but it's already taken. So it doesn't do this action at all. It just draws another card because it can't do the action, so it just draws another card. So this time it got lower travel action or contracts. So with this Automa card, it tries to take the lower travel action if it can. If it can, it does so. If it can't, it takes the contracts action and just puts a die down there. Like I said, preferably a colored die. It doesn't really matter. It can do the lower travel action, so it is not going to do this action, and it's going to move one space west to Karakoram. And put some trading posts down. The yellow player is the last player who has a die in its possession. It draws book 1. It takes its last die. It's set to a 1, sticks it there, and you don't even have to resolve once you see what the Automa card does. If it doesn't involve travel or taking a black die or completing a contract, you don't have to finish it. You can just shuffle all the cards and get ready for round 2. So let's get ready for round 2. My program doesn't care, it does it. And then rolls the dice and gets ready for round 2. So round 2, I get this bonus again. You know what I want camels so I can finish this contract. So I'm going to grab this one here in Chengdu. Red's going first because red took the upper travel action at some point and was the last player. I wasn't even paying attention to that, but if my program's working correctly, it does what you would normally do in a regular multiplayer game. The player who took the highest travel action most recently, it's not necessarily the upper one, is the new start player for the new round. Drew an Automa card that says do a travel action. They're all available. It's going to roll a d6, take the one that it gets, and then move. So it rolled a 1, 2, or a 3, and it moved south, and then stuck a trading post in, what's that city back there? I don't even remember. I play this game so often, and I can't remember the city. What's south of Kashgar? Come on. Oh, that's Mur. Yeah. So it went to Mur, and it stuck a trading post. Because there was no oasis to get in the way. That may have been one of the places where you could take 2 possible routes. I don't think it is, though. But normally, as indicated in the path that the AI players take, they always take the most direct route because they don't have to pay. Okay, green player's going to do book 1. It's just going to stick a 1 there, and that's all. Very simple. Yellow player's doing Khan's favorite, just like before, rolls 1 of the dice, sticks it in the first slot. Put a 3 there. Okay, it's my turn. My dice are rolling because they haven't rolled yet. And look at that. Lo and behold. Oh, no, I did 3, 6, 9. Just made it to 15. But still a pretty lousy roll. So I can fulfill this now because I got the camels I needed from Chengdu earlier. So I'm going to fulfill this and get a free movement. And that's just all before having to do, take my action. So I'm going to do that. Oh, I didn't even check. Oh, yeah, I have what I need. No problem. Just going to move west to Jaipur. And I get the outpost bonus tile. Oh, I guess the outpost bonus tile was move a space. I didn't even pay attention, but my finger's still flashing, and it says you may now move your figure one space. So I guess it was the one that gives you one free move. So I'm going to move again. Gee, I should have taken note of that. Can I do it? Yeah, fortunately I do have the jade. So I'm going to move from Jaipur to Hormuz. And I'm going to take this route down here. I have the Taylor seal. So I'm going to move to Hormuz. I get 3 points. That's nice. And now it's my action. That was all just from fulfilling the contract. A bunch of nice reactions to doing that. So for my actual action, I want camels. So I'm going to take a 3. I'm just going to go here with a 3 and take 4 camels. Now that I took the camels, I'll take a die. Well, I rolled so lousy. Should I take a 6? Maybe I'll take a 6 just so it leaves my options open. I'm not doing a lot of planning ahead. I'm just going to take a 6. Hopefully it won't come back to bite me. Okay, that's the end of my turn. Red's turn. Complete a contract, take a travel action. So no matter what, it does complete its contract. It's going to score 10 points. It ignores everything else, but it still draws another one from the stack. And it's not going to do the lower travel action. It's either going to do the upper or the middle, because it doesn't want it to go where there's already a die if it doesn't have to. So complete the contract, score 10 points, get another contract. It's taking the upper travel action. Therefore, it moves 2 cities, puts down 2 trading posts. And as things stand right now, it's going to be the start player for the next round. Okay, green's going to complete a contract and do book 3. We've already seen this one before. It's going to score 14, move a space, then take the book 3 action and put a 5 down. So it's going to move from Karakoram to Kashgar, put down a trading post, scores the points for the contract, and puts down the 5, and draws another contract. For the first time, an AI player is doing the Guild Seals action. Now, before it does it, it first wants to improve a seal, whether or not it actually does the Guild Seals action. Yellow hasn't done this before, so it doesn't have any Guild Seals to improve, so it ignores Improve Seal. AI players get to take the Guild Seals action only using 1 die. It's just going to put down any old die, and it takes the one it prefers to take based on its goal. And that looks like it's going to take. It looks like it's going to take the Taylor seal. It won't improve it yet. It won't improve it until it does this action again and is instructed to improve it. But right now, all it's doing is taking the seal. And more importantly, it's putting a die in this space, making it inconvenient for me. What do I need to improve this? I need 2 silk and $7. I have the $7 just. I can get 2 silk by taking the middle travel action. So I'll just take a 3. I'll take the, not the middle travel action, the second book action. I'll take the second offer. I'll take 2 silk and a camel, and I'll improve my Taylor seal. And now I'm broke. But I get 2 points, and now we'll get 2 points at the start of every subsequent round. Like I said, I like to get these things improved sooner rather than later if I can, because I like getting the bonus. But I'm not sure if that made a lot of sense in that particular instance or not. So my turn is over. Red player draws book 2. It's occupied. Remember, the hard AI player doesn't like to go to non-travel actions that are occupied, so it's going to draw another card. This time it gets black die, take a travel action. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to take a black die. It's either going to take the 1 or the 5 based on a roll of a die. and then it's going to do the middle travel action because it doesn't like going here and it doesn't like going there. Because it already took a black die, it can't take a second black die. But if black die wasn't mentioned here, it would take it by when it had to do, was forced into taking the middle travel action. AI players don't like to put out more than one die, and when they do, they want something in return. So that's the way they behave. So in this instance, it's just going to take a black die and take the middle travel action with a red die and a black die because it only has one red die left. So it took a 1, it put down a 1 and a 1, and it moved along its path to Kabul and put down a trading post. Okay, green player. Okay, so green player drew the card that says black die and complete contract only if you have a trading post in a special city. And then if you do, take the special city action. So this is the one Automa card where the special action at the top, in this case black die and complete contract, is conditional on whether or not you can actually take a special city action. The green player can't. It hasn't gotten to bulk yet. The first special city it would get to is bulk. It hasn't gotten there yet. It can't do this action at all, so it's going to draw another card. It drew book 3, so it's going to go to book 3. It's going to go to this space because it's empty and put down a 5. Yellow also got book 3, going to take either one and put down a 5. Then it's my turn, and I do desperately need contracts, so I'll just, because it's easy, and it'll give me a couple bucks too. I need some coins, so I'll take a 3 and come down here, and I guess the only contracts I can take are these. So I'll just take this one, and I'll take that one, and I'll get the $3, and my turn's over. Red. Okay, so it just got the same thing, but it is in bulk, so it can do this card. So it's going to take a black die, either the 5 or the 3. Then it's going to complete the contract and score 16 points. It's going to stick a die in bulk, which is currently unoccupied. Now, if bulk was fully occupied, it would still take the black die to complete the contract because it's only conditional on it being in a special city, not actually being able to take the special city action. In this case, it can do both. So it's going to take the black die, it takes a 5, it takes the 16 points. Is there a bug in my program? It looked to me like this flashed, and well, let's see what it did. Red took a black 5, completed a contract, increased its score by 16, and took the Hormuz action, which it can't take because it's not in Hormuz. So that's a bug in my program. So the only special city the red player could go to was bulk. That's where it would stick a die. But my program has a bug, so sorry, it just put a die down here. Now it's green's turn. It takes a black die, either the 4 or the 3. And then it's going to do a travel action. It doesn't care. It's easy. It's playing at the easy setting, so it's going to take whatever the die, the D6 roll, tells it to do. Meaning 1 to 3 takes the lower, 4 to 5 takes the middle, 6 takes the upper. So it takes the lower travel action. It took the 4. It moved from Mur. No, it moved to Mur, rather, and stuck a trading post. It went by so fast I didn't see. Now it's the yellow player's turn. The yellow player is not in bulk. It can't do this, so it ignores the card and draws another card. And it doesn't take this black die or complete a contract because it has to be in a special city to do so. So it gets upper city card. Yellow is all the way over here. Yellow is barely moved, which is unusual because usually the medium player moves more quickly than the easy player does. But like I said, it's a variant, so different things happen. It's unpredictable. So the yellow player is doing pretty poorly here. So it can't do this either because it's not in a city that has a city card. So it's going to ignore this and move on to the next card. Now it got a travel action that it can do. So it's going to roll a d6 to decide which travel action to take. It can take all three of them. And it takes a black die because it took the middle travel action. So that was an example of an automa card that didn't say take a black die, but because the AI player took either the middle or the upper travel action, it takes a black die. If it my turn. So I'd like to move. I've got one jade. I guess I'll take a 4 and stick it up here, and so yeah, now I don't have the jade. I did need jade to move west, so I guess I'm going this way. Yeah, I guess I'll go this way and then come back around to Baghdad. Wasn't looking very carefully, planning my moves too carefully. Okay, red's turn. Khan's favor. There's a 3, so it could take a 3, 4, 5, put down a 3, 4, 5, or 6. So roll a d6. A 3, you put down a 3. On a 4, you put down a 4. And if you roll a 1 or a 2, you re-roll. Make up whatever rule you want to make. But it put down a 5. And I guess it didn't have any colored dice. It didn't. That was its last die, so it just put down a black die as a result. Okay, green's doing the improve seal, and then do guild seal. It doesn't have a seal to improve, but it can take the guild seals action. It does so with 1 green die, and it takes the one that looks like the Spicer seal that was on its gold card, so that's what it took. Yellow turn. Book 2, it's going to just stick a die, take its last remaining die, change it to a 3. It's black, it's going to put it in book 2. I'm short on cash, and I'm going to need cash. What's a good way to get cash? Oh, exchange points for cash. Well, I don't know that I normally do this if I were really playing for keeps, but I'm going to put this down here and do this 6 times. And I'm going to give up 6 of my points and take 18 bucks, just so I don't have to worry about cash for a while. So no, I want to exchange points for coins. And I'm going to do it 6 times because I put down a 6. So I get 18 bucks. Now I don't have to worry about money. Turn. Green's turn. Upper city card. Green can put something here. I can't. Where is it? I don't know if it's made its way to Kashgar yet or not. Kashgar's another city card, isn't it? This is covering it, so I can't see what it's going to do. But it's going to do something, some upper city card, and it's going to score 5 points. Yeah, so it was in 2 possible places. So it rolled a die internally, and on a 1 to a 3, it did this one. On a 4 to a 6, it would have done the Kashgar die, a city card action. Okay, back to me. All I have is a 2. What can I do with a 2? Yeah, whatever. I'll take the jade and the pepper. And I think that ends round 2. Okay, round 3, we roll the black dice. I get my bonuses. So what do I want this time? This time, I think I want black dice, so I'm going to take camels. Didn't I see camels somewhere? Yeah, here in Chengdu. So I'm going to use this wild bonus to take this bonus action, to take 3 camels. I get 3 points down here, and it's red's turn because red was the only player that took the upper travel action. Book 2, it's open. It's just going to go to book 2. Now green, improve seal, which it has, so it's going to improve its Spicer seal, then try to do the guild seals action with 1 die, which it can do. It doesn't need anything else other than the Spicer seal, so it's just going to take 1 at random. It doesn't care. Yellow's turn, doing lower city card, so it's going to pick one of these and score 5 points. Now I'm finally rolling my dice, and I got lousy dice again. This time, well, I get one low die compensation, so I'll take, well, I don't need money now, so I'll take a camel. But I do have the camels, and because I stocked up on camels, I'll take, oh, these are pretty high. I'll take a 3. And now I do want to get that jeweler seal. Oh, shoot. And somebody went there, so now they're going to cost me $4. Oh, well. I'm going to place a 5 and a 4. Oh, too bad I wasn't here yet, but I need the jeweler seal to get here. Okay, so I have to pay $4, but I got plenty of money. And I'm going to take the guild seals and take the jeweler seal. Yeah. Okay. Red, hard player, cons favor, all open, roll a die, and whatever you get, put it there. It puts down a 2. Complete contract, green, then do book 3. So it's going to score 20 points. Wow. Score 20 points, then do the book 3 action, which is wide open. Wow. That was a nice contract. Yellow is going to do cons favor. There's a 2 there, so it could do a 2, 3, 4, 5, or a 6. So it's going to roll a die, and on a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, that's what it's going to put down. And if it rolls a 1, it just re-rolls. So it's putting down a 3. And now it's my turn. And I guess I'll travel. I'll put down a 1. And where am I? In this oasis. So now I'll go here to pagan, so I can, not that I necessarily need any more seals. I will eventually need the Spicer seals, so I guess I'll make use of this city card once at some point. I'm getting $5. Red hasn't gotten here yet. Oh, look, it was one step away. It could have gotten here and taken this away from me, but it didn't. Not that I need the money, but I'm getting $5 extra for my trouble. Okay, that's my turn. Back to red. So now red's doing a travel action. So it's going to take a black die, either the 6 or the 3, roll a die, and it's either going to do the upper or the middle, not the lower, because it's occupied. That's only the hard AI player that does that. They have special rules. Okay. And so it ended up in Zion, and that's where it is. And now from there, it's going to go back down this way and to Fuchao, finish off in Kunming. It's going to, so for Zion, because it was the 3rd from its last, it just scored 5 points because it just played the 3rd from the last trading post. So if I look in the log, yeah, increase score by 5, just because that's what the rules say you do. So it's close to finishing up. It's going to get, then it's going to, from pagan, it's going to move back to this trading post. It's going to go to Fuchao, get another 5 points, and then for its last trading post, which it always puts in Kunming, it gets then it gets 10 points. And then if it moves beyond Kunming on its way to Baghdad, it's going to score 10 points every time it moves. And more often than not, only a hard AI player is going to get that far. Usually the easy and the medium AI players don't get that far. Okay, my turn. Oh, no. So wait a minute. Why is this showing and it's my turn? I'm confused. I don't know. What just happened? Was that green? Maybe that was green's turn. Or is it yellow's turn? I'm really confused. Oh, geez, I'm super confused. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that was a bug or what. Anyway, now it's my turn. Oh, I switched back. So I wasn't real, because I was looking at the last trading post, the yellow, who was it, yellow that put down to make sure. or red put down to make sure it got its 5 points, whatever. I wasn't showing the right player, so I got confused, not the program in this case. So now it is my turn. Sorry for that bit of confusion there. What do I want to do? Let's take the book 3 action. I don't have a 5. I'll take a 5. I have the camels. So I'll take a 5, and I'll use that 5 to go here. Oh, I'm just going to take that. I want to improve my jeweler seal, so I'm just going to improve that. Now that I can, because I have the 2 gold. My turn's over. Red. Improve seal, do guild seals. Now, this is interesting. So the red player doesn't like to go where there's dice, but it's still going to try to improve its seal anyway. It doesn't have a seal to improve, so it's not going to do anything on this card and take another. And it's going to draw another card. So it says complete contract, then do a travel action. So it fulfills the contract. It moves. Oh, it moves 1 space to the oasis. So it didn't make its way to Kunming yet. It's only in Fuchao. Anyway, green's going to take a black die and then do a travel action, and it doesn't care. So it's going to, whether it's occupied or not. So it's going to do whatever the die tells it to do. So it takes a black die. It took a 5. It's doing the lower travel actions, and it moved to bulk. Now it can do the special city action. Yellow hasn't even gotten there yet. Okay, now it's yellow's turn. Yellow is starting to catch up. It's going to take a black die and do a travel action. It's going to roll a die. So it takes the 6. It does the middle travel action, which sends it to the next city on its path, Kashgar. Put down trading post. Turn is done. Back to me. Let me put down a black 3 here. And I'll take the Spicer seal. And now I need 2 pepper, which I have, and $5, which I have. And I also would like to get this die. I haven't taken a die yet, so I'm going to take the 5. Can I still, and I can fulfill this, so I guess I will. Okay. Red. No, I guess red's out of dice. So green is doing this action, which it can do now. So it will take a black die. It will complete a contract. It will score 14 points. And then it will put a die in bulk, because that's the only special city it can't put a die in. 14 points. It's up to 60. And there's another bug. It went to Baghdad. So that's a repeat of the bug I saw earlier. Yellow's turn. Improve a seal. It does have a seal it can improve, so it will improve its Spicer seal, and then it'll take a guild seals action with 1 die. It doesn't need any other special seal, so it'll just take something at random. So it improves, takes the action, and I don't know, it went by so fast I didn't even see what it took. It took the jeweler seal. Okay. Back to me. Let's take a 1. Let's take this action. Okay, so that's the end of my turn. Green is now going to take book 3. You know the drill. It's going to go. It went to the one where it could go with a colored die. Oh, it's back to me. So I guess nobody else has dice left. I don't know. I have jade, don't I? So I could take a 5, and I'll go to Yangzhou, but I'll only do it 1 time, and I'll move. Where am I? In Pagan? So I'll move from Pagan to Kabul, I guess? Yeah. And I can take a contract, but I'm full up on contracts. But do I like one of these better than what I have? Well, this one gives me another contract, and it gives me more points than this one. So maybe I'll take this one, and I'll get rid of this one. Okay. And now it's Green's turn. Green has one die left, a black die. It's going to do a travel action. It can only take the lower travel action. It only has one die along the path. It's going to move from Balkh to Chengdu. Back to me. I think this is the end of the round now. I have a 3. I'll go to Hormuz to get more camels. Oh, and I'll get some points because I now have an improved Taylor seal. So I could finish right now and just say, okay, you pretty much see how this works, but I'm in round 4, so I might as well just go all the way through. So it's my Kunming Wild bonus. What do I want this time? I think this time I'll take resources, start fulfilling contracts. So I need gold and silk. So I'll take a gold and a silk. Red's going first again. Okay, Khan's favor. It's just going to roll a die and put down a die. Put a 1 down. Green's doing a travel action. It could do any one of the 3. It's going to roll a die and decide. Oh, and it takes a black die. Oh, it takes a black die because it did the middle travel action. Yellow, lower city card. So it's going to do one of these and score 5 points because it's medium difficulty. So it decides to take the one on the left. Scored 5 points. Now I'm rolling dice. As I'm probably going to get lousy dice, aren't I? I did. I get more compensation. Boy, that's what, the 3rd time now. It's like a pattern. I just need camels, so I'll take camels. Okay. I got camels. I'll take a black die. I'll take a 1. A 1 and take the lower travel action. And I'll go from Kabul to this. Do I have jade? Yes, I do. So I'll go from here to there. I would take these middle or upper travel actions if I could, but my character doesn't allow it. And my program wouldn't allow it as a result. And my turn. Red is doing an upper city card. It has a lot to choose from. It figures out how many it's choosing between. What is it? 1, 2. So it's here. Kashgar's available. Pagan's available. That's 3. These are contracts. These are contracts. So it rolls a die. On a 1 to a 2, it does this one. On a 3 to a 4, it does the Kashgar. On a 5 to a 6, it does this one. And it happens to do Pagan. Okay. Now Green is taking a lower travel action or contracts. If forced to, it can take the lower travel action, so it will. And it'll move 1 space, and Green continues its march as an easy AI player, and it's traveling pretty far. It's all the way in Pagan. That's pretty good for easy. Yellow is doing book 2. Let's stick a 2 up here, and I'll do it once, and I'll move to Baghdad. No, where am I? I've lost track of where. Yeah, I'm up here. I'm going down to Baghdad because I haven't been there yet. Right? Yeah. Getting confused with all these different players. Okay, Red's going to do a book 2. It is not going to do book 2 because Red doesn't like going to occupied spaces, so it's going to draw another card. I don't know why it's pausing here. Complete contract, then do book 3. So that's what it's going to do. Score 12 points, draw another contract, then do book 3 with a 5. Okay. Green's going to do book 3 as well. Put down a 5 in the bottom space. Yellow's going to do a travel action. It could do any one of the 3. It doesn't say take a black die, but if it ends up taking the middle or the upper travel action, it will take a black die. It is taking the lower travel action, so it doesn't. It just moves to Mur and puts down a trading post. I'll stick this 1 down here, and I'll move from Baghdad to Mur. I could easily just cancel, but I'll just take that contract and get rid of this contract. But I could take a black die. I have plenty of camels, so I'll take a 3. So red is going to do black die travel action. So it is going to do an upper travel action, and it's going to probably end up being the start player again. This time I'm going to try to pay attention to that. So that's the only one that was unoccupied. That's what it does. So it went to Kunming, put down its last trading post, scored 10 points, then went to the next city on its path, which is Jaipur, and take another 10 points. So it just scored 20 points straight, I bet. Yeah, it scored 10 for its last trading post, then it scored 10 because it moved beyond Kunming. Okay, green's now taking a black die, doing a travel action. Then put a green die there. It just moved 1 space, and now it's here in the oasis. Yellow is going to improve a seal if it can. It can. It's going to improve its jeweler's seal. Score 5 points. The card doesn't say score 5 points. So I'm going to fix that. Automa card, so it does say score 5 points. And then it's going to do a guild seals action. It doesn't need any one in particular, so we'll take one at random. Probably the Spicer seal, but doesn't matter. Could take any one. So to improve the seal, it took a Spicer seal. I don't remember exactly how I programmed that. Maybe I just sort of loop through and don't take one at random. I don't really remember. Okay, where am I? I'm in Myrrh. I want to get to Balk. Where do I want to go to Kashgar? Well, I have a snake, so I think I'll just go to Balk. Do I have the jade that I need? I do. Okay, so what do I need to get to Balk? I have a black die. I guess I'm putting out a black 3. Boy, I'm running a little low on cash now from my high of 20-something dollars. So I'm going to move here, get the bonus. Oh, I got a little more cash as a result from the $3 from the bonus tile. I've got the camels. I'll take the 5, the last remaining black die. And red is going to do book 2. It wouldn't have taken a black die, but maybe somebody else would. Yeah, so yellow would have taken a black die if it could, but it can't. But then, so it's just going to do a travel action. And it could only do the lower travel action because it only has 1 die. Oh, it can't do the lower travel action because it's already gone there with a yellow die. That's what this symbol means. So it's going to have to draw another card because it can't do the travel action. And it draws another card. Now it does complete contract, scores 10 points. And then it's going to do book 3, which it can do. Complete contract, score 10, take the 3rd book. Now it's back to me. Let's take this 2 and go here because it's open. And I'll take a jade because it's nice to have jade on hand. I didn't really need the pepper. Green's going to do lower city card, so it can't do the one on the left, so it's going to do on the right. Don't do it on the right, but it's playing easy. Green's easy. It's not going to get the 5 points. Blue, back to me. Let me take a 3, go to the middle book, and I'll take some silk. Now can I complete a contract? Now can I do this? I'm short on the camels, but I really don't need the camels. So I suppose I could fulfill this contract. Could I fulfill this one? I could fulfill this one too. This one lets me move. I want to get to Chengdu. I don't need anything special, so let's fulfill this. And I'll move 1 space to Chengdu, put down a trading post. Is that my last one? That's my last trading post. I can't do anything else, so I'll end the turn. Who has dice? Nobody. It's just me. Forces. So I think I'll take a 4 and I'll go to Baghdad. Have I improved my jeweler's seal? I have. So I'll get a bunch of camels too. Now I can go and I'll put it in Khan's favor. And move to round 5 and try to finish this baby up. So I'm going to get that bonus again from Kunming. What do I want this time? I guess I'll take the goods from Kashgar. So I'll take the Kashgar bonus, take silk, and then I guess I'll take a gold. And then it fulfills all my other bonuses. And I guess red's going first, because I guess red took that upper travel action. So red's doing book 3. It can do book 3 because it's open, it's unoccupied. Green's doing special city, which it can do. Now, technically, it can't go to Baghdad, but because of that bug, it might. But really, it should roll a die and choose between Balk. No, it can't even do Hormuz either. So it should just put a die in Balk. It'll take a black die, complete a contract, score 18 points, and then put a die in Balk. But who knows? It might put one in because of that bug in Hormuz or Baghdad. I'm not sure. It's going to complete the contract. It takes the black die, completes the contract. Yep. It went to Hormuz. Don't know how that bug slipped in because it was never there before. But whatever. Yellow is going to do a guild seal. It's going to improve its spicer and then take it's the 4th seal. My turn. Oh, I'm finally rolling my dice. A little bit. Can I do this one? I've got camels, I've got silk, I've got gold, I've got pepper. Yeah, I guess I can. And I got another contract because that other contract granted me another contract. And this one gives me a black die. But now that I'm thinking about it, I do want a black die. I kind of got low dice. Do I want a 2 or a 5? Let me take a 5 just in case I want to go to one of these city actions multiple times. Let me in the meantime, take a 3. I want to get some silk. So I'll go here and I'll take 2 camels and 4 silk because I have the jade. And now I think, oh, I'm short of pepper. Oh, darn. Oh, well, can't do it yet. Okay, red, your turn. Upper city card containing one of your trading posts. So it has a lot to choose from. It's going to roll a die and decide. Now, there's no bug here. This one it does do right, and it will score 5 points because it always scores 5 points when doing upper city card action, regardless if it's easy, medium, or hard. So it went to Kashgar and scored 5 points. Now, green is going to do lower city card. Both are available. It's going to pick one based on a roll of a die, and then it is easy, so it won't score 5 points. So it occupies the left, doesn't score 5 points. Now it's yellow's turn, the medium player. Black die, take a travel action. Okay, it's going to take a 2 or a 4 and take a travel action based on the roll of a d6. Does a lower travel action, moves to Chengdu. Back to me. Let's take a 1 and take the first book. And I'll take the first offer, which gives me a jade and 2 pepper, and I'll finish this contract off. So I'm going to take a gold. Choose a black die from the contract, so I'll take a 2, I think. I want a low die. And is that the end of my turn? I guess it is. Red. Improve a seal. Doesn't have a seal? Seriously? It's going to do, actually, the lower city card action, and it'll score 5 points. So it's going to put a die down there. Green. Improve a seal. It's going to improve its jeweler seal, and then do a guild seals action. Doesn't care. It'll probably take a tailor seal. Yep, I took a tailor seal. Okay, yellow's doing book 3. No problem. I'll use a higher die because I'll stick a 4 down here. And I probably have, I could choose the other cities, but I'm just going to choose this and choose that. I'm not really paying that close of attention at this point. Just trying to speed through this thing. Actually, can I fulfill this? No. Yes, I can fulfill this. So I might as well. I got camel, so I'll take a 4. And now it's red's turn. Lower travel action or contracts. It can take the lower travel action, so it will. It'll move 1 space to Hormuz and scores 10 points, because for all this movement up to Baghdad, it's scoring 10 points each time. Green's doing upper city card. So I don't know how many you can choose from, but it's going to roll a die and decide. Scores 5 points for an upper city card action. So that's where it went. Now yellow's doing a lower city card. They're both occupied, so it's not going to do this at all, and it's going to draw another card. So this time it gets book 2, which it can do, so it will do book 2. And it's back to me. Let's get some goods from Baghdad. Oh, I should have put a 5 down, I guess, to get more camels, but whatever. Red, complete a contract, take book 3. It can do both of those things easily. So we'll complete this, score 12 points, then do the bottom book 3 action. Oh, no, it won't. It completes a contract. It doesn't, the hard AI player doesn't take occupied actions. So it first does the complete contract, and then it ignores the rest of the card and draws another card. Black die, complete contract, and then special city action, which it can do. So it is going to take a black die. It did Hormuz. It couldn't do it legally because it's not in Hormuz yet. Green's going to complete a contract, do book 3, which you can do. Okay. Yellow's going to complete a contract, do book 3. Same card. Starting to catch up, but it's still lagging way behind. It's at 64. You know what? I'm just going to do the Baghdad action because I can. So I'm going to take a 2 and stick it here. And I don't have enough. I just want to finish. Okay, red's going to do Khan's favor. Roll a die, put down a die. Puts down a 4. I guess it was all it had was black dice. Green is doing a travel action. It could do all 3 with a black 1. It's going to roll the d6 and figure out. And it does the lower travel action. Yellow is traveling as well. Okay, so yellow's in Kabul. Can I get 2 jades somewhere? I could do it here with a 5. So let's take a black 5, put it here. I'll take the 2 jade and the 2 camels, and now I guess I can pay this off. Oh, there's no black die to take. Well, it's the last round. Oh my God. Maybe this is telling me that this is where I should end. So I'm not going to fulfill this contract. I'm shorting myself points. I'm just ending my turn. Oh, this is it. I'm the only one who has any dice left. I'll take a 4 and I'll go here and I'll get some silk. Oh, why not? I'll put down 2 jade. Who knows if I'm going to be able to do this. Oh, I think it's because of the black die, so I think I'm not going to air out here. Yeah, I'm okay. So I guess I'll take, what do I get? 1 resource. I'll take a pepper. I'm afraid to try to fulfill that contract. This is the last turn. It's a 5. I guess I'll just go there. And that will be it. And I shorted myself, so I could have gotten 7 points out of this, but whatever. The final score, 187 for red. So that's pretty typical for red. Green did much better. These scores are kind of backwards. Usually I would have expected green to score about 80 and yellow to score around 137, but it's just the way things worked out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy the solo variant if you're a fan of Marco Polo II. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.